healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
And now we're recording. And now we've started.
Welcome to Lady Journey.
Welcome to Lady Journey. So I've spoken about this. This is, I think, a little bit of a sensitive topic, but I am doing a prenuptial agreement. And I think it's a sensitive topic because it's like, oh, I guess like we don't really love each other that much that we're doing like a pre-divorce.
I'm actually all for it. Joe and I didn't do it, but I think I get it. And if I was marrying a really wealthy man, or if I was really wealthy, I would do a prenup.
You might as well. Well, here's one thing that we do have a disparity in our assets, and I don't want to disclose all of my financial information to the world, but there's a disparity in the assets. Of course, Mike is 14 years older than me. He's further along in the career, but also, so there's that he wants protection for him. But then if we do stay at home, if I stay at home and then there's a divorce, if we're, leaving with the assets that we came in with, then I want to be compensated for that. So it makes sense, kind of, in that regard. Because I think if you're married and there is no prenup, then everything's 50-50. And it kind of works like that.
Right.
So, but
I do feel like generally in gender roles, the woman does get screwed.
Yeah, because, well, I guess if it's 50-50, but then you don't have any type of agreement, and then it just depends on who he gets an expensive lawyer, then the lawyer could screw you.
Right.
So we decided to do it because Mike was the one who wanted it. He was the one who brought it up, and I was like, I totally support it because I also think like let's enter the relationship with like a trust,
right? Of
like, okay, we're not going to screw each other if we get a divorce. No one's going to,
Well, I like that even when we got together, Katie and I,
yes,
as business partners,
we had a prenuptial agreement for the business. We're like, let's not do this
forever.
Yeah.
If one wants out, we go.
Yeah. But we went the traditional route initially of doing lawyers. And I was like, this is crazy. It's almost like you are literally getting divorced before you get married, where it's like,
that's funny.
He has a lawyer that's trying to screw you, and then you get a lawyer that's trying to screw him, and whoever screws each other the hardest gets the better deal.
And then you're coming home acting like none of this is happening.
Right. Like we're not acknowledging it.
Where you're that's crazy that your lawyer denied my request today.
Yeah. And Mike was telling me he spoke to other people who we know that were like, yeah, that's what you have to do. But meanwhile, then I start to look into it, and it's like the lawyer route, first of all, is like 10 grand, which is crazy. And I'm like, instead of you giving me the money, you're just going to give it to a lawyer, I guess. Like, okay. But we found a better solution that I want to share with everyone, because I think we're instead doing a mediator where we're coming up with an agreement together.
Like a contract.
Like a contract, and like also like when you go through mediation after divorce, and it's like way cheaper because you don't have to get all the lawyers involved. This is so much cheaper, and we're going in being like, we both know what we want to do.
This is what we agreed on in the beginning.
Yeah. And it's like, how I can't believe people are using lawyers for this type of stuff, where it's like, we're in love, but like I will be screwing him. So you screw him. It's crazy. It's like you're treating it like you're a business.
Yeah. So in actuality, it is.
It is, yeah. But
it is.
If anybody out there is looking for prenup, just go to Prenup Pros, which does sound like a scam, but it is a legit. And it was like this, instead of it being $10,000, it was like $1,600.
Okay.
So much better.
$10,000. But that sounds normal for a New York lawyer rate. When you said that, I was like, okay.
Right. You're just like, well, whatever, I guess that's coming out of my asshole.
It's just a few emails they send.
Yeah. No, they're like, oh, my retainer. And then they use jargon to confuse you, but it's just normal language.
I get annoyed with that, where you're like, can you just speak? I'm not a lawyer. So just give it to me straight, like layman terms.
It's the same with the real estate world, which I'm dipping my toe into, as everyone knows. And it's so funny because like these realtors like throw around like, oh, are you seeking financing for your home? And you're like, what is that? What is that? Or like, I'm going to see if I can get 3 points off the loan. You're like, oh, wait, what's going on? I don't know real estate. And then when you start to break it down, it's like they are just using their own secret words to confuse people. And it's actually like relatively straightforward.
Right. And it feels like they're a way of like, and then I added on my administrative fees for using these large words.
Yes. It's like they're just gatekeeping. Yeah. They're just doing silly little gatekeeping. But we're getting an apartment and I'm excited about it.
That is super exciting.
It's crazy. I can't believe that it's happening.
Well, I was always thinking about this recently. Like I saw one of these expensive homes that went on sale in Houston, but it's like on top of that, then you have to furnish it.
Yes. And we won't be furnishing it that much, but because it's like actually a great time because we're going from the wedding to moving into a new place. And then I am going to get like, I have 2 knives, as everyone knows. I have one knife that is dull, and then I have another knife that's a bread knife. And those are the only cooking knives that I've had for like the past 6 years. So I'm like, okay, we're going to get the nice set. We're going to get a set of knives.
You got to get a nice set of knives. I have one really like a very expensive knife. And you know what's weird? I still feel weird using it.
You have imposter syndrome with your knife.
I have it also with good plates. Like my sister got me a good sturdy, feels like actual clay plates. And I have plasticky ones. And I'd rather use those still than the good ones because the other ones are heavier, so it feels like it's more work to use.
You're burning more calories, which you need.
But it is something like fascinating where you're like, it's so weird that I won't take the nice stuff.
I do that with like, I'll buy a sweater and then I won't wear it for like 4 years. I just keep it. I'm like, that's my cashmere. That one's just for looking at. And then it's like completely out of style. And I'm like, time to dust it off.
I'm like that also with good skincare.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, I don't want to waste it.
That's for a special occasion. And then the time I get it, and I've had this happen, it's all dried up.
Yeah.
It's just clay.
Yeah. I'm doing the Miracle Balm today. I was on TikTok last night and I saw a woman who was doing tips of aged faces and how to keep the makeup looking young. And I followed it and I was like, I think I just did like the MAGA makeup accidentally because it was like a lot heavier on the eyeshadow and the blush than I usually go.
I was just talking about this last night, the Republican makeup, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, and what we've determined it's a mask that you're wearing.
Well, it's
a white skin.
Yes. It's a heavy,
outline your eyes.
A very heavy foundation that doesn't necessarily match your neck color.
Right.
And it's not blended. But also I'm looking at it and I'm like,
drying. It looks dry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cakey. Very cakey.
Very cakey.
But I'm looking at it and there's a lot of contouring and part of me is like, is this just what was in 2016?
That's what it feels like.
Because that's when people were contouring and they were very heavy we were all lining the lower lid in 2016. We were lining it heavily.
2016 was a crazy time for makeup. There were times I went to Sephora where you're just like the person helping you. You're just like, whoa. Oh
yes,
my
it's
God.
like absolute clown. Like, okay, Bobo. Yeah, he's like, you don't want to get product recommendations from someone like that. They're like, have you tried orange lipstick?
I'm like, no, give me a skin tint.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fascinated with that conversation happening online about the makeup look. And also they were saying, I guess it makes them look older is what I'm gathering.
It makes them look older. And it's like, I guess it's also a look of like, you're not in touch with the trends, which is like the clean girl face. You are
which
also
is really
like
bullshit because I remember years ago, before I even really knew about Botox and fillers, so this was probably like over 10 years ago, Christina Aguilera came out with a photo of like no makeup free, all natural. And I posted it in the ladies group on Facebook and I got ripped to shreds.
Oh, yes.
Where they were like, she's got filler and Botox. Of course you don't need makeup when you injectables all in your face. And I was so like, oh, I feel so stupid and ignorant.
You're like, this is what it looks like.
I know. I'm like, look how, so she doesn't I was look how much money she's saving, and I was like, oh, she's spending way more money on the injectables than actual makeup.
She's spending celebrity money on that. That stuff is like runs into the hundreds of thousands, where you look at people and you're like, wow, it's undetectable. I guess they're really that good. It's like, no, they're just insanely wealthy.
Right. So I always feel like the clean girl aesthetic, I can't do it.
Well, I do in preparation for my wedding, which I'm now like running out of time to do any preparation. I took my dress in to get altered finally. And the woman was like, why did you wait so long? I almost don't have time to do this. I love a tailor or like really anybody
that tells it like it is.
Yeah. Like she's just like a cruel, Eastern European woman. And she's like, look, your boobies are small. I'm like, all right. But she's very good, and she gave me a great rate, and she was in Manhattan, which I was like, great. I was fully prepared to just like take my dress on the train out to Flushing and then just like get in an unmarked van,
right?
And like drive into the sunset.
Through the subway with it, and
But one of my ideas that I really wanted to do, I really want to get like $150 like brow lamination and get the tinting, get the waxing. And I was like, if I could find the wherewithal within myself to like keep that up and just like do all the high maintenance things to be like the low maintenance woman, like that's my dream.
But it's like whack-a-mole. It's a full-time job doing that.
It's literally whack-a-mole. You're like, and then I have to get this removed.
I know.
I'm doing this. Yeah.
By the time I got this figured out, then I realized this, like other things need to be fixed. My hair is falling out. I got to get that done. I need an overhaul. I am actually looking into
don't
Mayday.
Worry. I'm good.
Yeah.
You're looking
into hair plugs.
I love
it.
I love it.
In the front.
Because then you get to go on a trip to Turkey. And
right.
you're like, it's a vacation.
And I don't think, it's not like I need a lot, but I can't wear a ponytail anymore because I have like, all this hair is gone. And I don't know if, I suspect it was going before Marty. And then, so I just want to be able to go back to wearing a ponytail again.
Yeah, you don't want to have like the low pony.
Yeah,
where it's like a female comb over.
That's what I do. But even then I'll see photos where it starts peeping and then I feel a draft on my bald spots. But I feel like I'm like, there must be a lot of girls that we know that have gotten it. Because I know I'm not. Of course. I felt there's an influencer online that I like that blew up during COVID named Tinks. Do you know her?
No, I don't think so.
She talks about hair loss and how she does minoxidil, but I don't really think all that stuff works, actually.
I think that there's no proven, like, there's not really anything you can do to quote unquote stimulate hair growth.
Right.
Like,
that I think you actually, and when I go to the hairdresser, they're always like, you have a lot of hair, but it's like clearly not in the front.
Oh, you just got to get some move.
Yeah. And I think that's what they do. They go to
that's what they do.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I think you should do it.
I'm just worried that it's like, there will be a moment where there's this, but then I've got like sprouts coming through.
Yeah. Well, there will be an adjustment.
Yeah.
There will be an adjustment. But I mean, you might have to shave your head. Well, just tell people you have cancer. Go Scamanda.
Oh my God.
That's how you'll afford the hair plugs.
I'm going to reach out to some of our male friends that have gone through it. I looked online. Joe said that's something I will be supportive of. He's like, I just don't want you to do injectables, but then I'm like, it's my body, my choice.
My body, my choice.
It is unfair to come home to your partner and be like this.
Well, my joke is I get acupuncture in my face, and that's what I call Botox around my fiance. Yeah. I'm like, I just came for my acupuncture. It's my face. I'm just like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why men don't support it. I mean, I guess like Mike has said stuff like that too. Like, but I think he has a fear that I'm going to like come back with a different face and
being
it's going to
ridiculous.
Be like, yeah, I'm like Nicolas Cage in Face Off, and it's like now I look like John Travolta or all of a sudden
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. Or like Gina Davis. All of a sudden where I'm like,
it just looks like a mask.
And it's like, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
But
it's basically, which feels weird to, you're like, why even get it? It feels unnoticeable, but
that's the
noticeable.
Whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. I think everybody do what they want. Do what they want. That's what I say.
Right.
And, if you want to get your face to looking like a cat, I think that could be great for the pod.
I like it.
Could be great for the pod. Let me take a quick moment to do some stone dedications.
Guys, we will get some more Patreons up.
Yes.
Some extra Saturday, Sunday, Monday bonuses.
I was out of town this weekend in Denver, and we did not get a Patreon, but if we miss it, we always will get it later sometimes.
Yeah.
And
it's there.
Yeah. Don't worry. So the first one, okay, let's see. We did have, So again, we are dedicating the remainder of the Tiger's Eye penis crystals that were gifted to me as part of my bachelorette party from my dear friend Sarah.
For yourself?
I actually have all 5, and I realized I had, without even knowing, I had been carrying them around in my handbag for the past month since we did the last dedication. And so it's so funny. Like, I just unzip. I'm at the airport, like looking for my credit card, and I'm like, oh,
my penis crystals.
Yeah, these have been all over the world at this point.
Now they're your friends.
These are my little guys, and they're like little soldiers. And I want to just note that the shaft is short but thick.
Right.
It's short but thick, but the head is proportionate, but the balls look huge to me.
Right.
Like, are you in agreement? I haven't seen that many penises, if I'm being totally honest.
I haven't either.
I probably have seen about 20. That's being generous.
Yeah. And one was on the street.
Yeah. And one of mine was in an art workshop that I did for experimental theater.
Man, I was just thinking, I saw an art piece the other day. It was like a guy doing something naked. And I'm like, do people infiltrate that scene to just sexually harass women?
Oh, that's hilarious. Like the free hugs guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good, I'd like to investigate
a vulture.
Further. Yeah.
A vulture
parasite,
piece.
A naked parasite. Oh, you meant like the magazine.
The magazine, yes.
The publication.
The publication, yes.
Well, without further ado, I'd like to dedicate this penis crystal, short but thick, to our new Patreon, Melissa. Melissa, welcome. I hope you get some dick in your life, unless you're a lesbian, and then in which case, I hope you get a strap on, or if that's what you like, whatever you want. I hope
whatever
you get it.
you want.
And
some masculine energy.
Oh yeah, actually,
that can't be that bad.
It kind of, I feel like it helps sometimes to have masculine energy, especially in terms of what they're calling it now. It's like all of a sudden masculine is like getting what you want and feminine is receiving. That's like the big TikTok trend. So it's like women just do nothing, and that's going into feminine energy. You're like, okay.
Yeah, we always get the negative.
Right.
But also like masculine and femme always changes.
Yeah, and I think women can get things.
Yes.
That's not necessarily going into masculine energy. But I hope you get after what you want. That promotion, that love, that new beds comforter, new bedspread. Whatever your heart desires, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon. And then I had another new Patreon, Scott. Scott, I'm guessing that this is the name of a man, so I hope that you get some courage. I hope you get some masculine energy to get out there and fuck things up. Be a disruptor with this penis crystal that I'm dedicating to you.
Very exciting.
Those are the last crystals left over from my bachelorette party. And if you want me to send it to you, I actually will, Scott or Melissa.
Right.
Send us your address or, email us, ladyjourneypodcast@gmail.com, and I'll mail this to you. Because I do have 5, and, who needs 5 small penis crystals? I want to keep 1.
Right. It's greedy.
Keep 1.
It's very greedy.
Yeah. It's a lot. Imagine I'm like, can you grab that? Can you grab my chapstick? It's in my bag. And someone's in there like, oh, I'm like, oh, those are for protection. Those are just to help me find courage in my life.
Oh my God. That's like, Joe's sister was in town this weekend babysitting, and while we were gone, I didn't realize I was charging my vibrator in the bedroom. And Marty goes in there, and I know we just didn't think.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff laying about.
I mean, it happens to the best of us. Sometimes your vibrator's out because it's got to be charging. Okay? You have to charge it. And then your baby goes towards it.
Well, Joe has a new muscle relaxing gun that he got.
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny the other day or yesterday, my sister-in-law was like stretching, which she does.
Yeah, of course.
In the middle of a hang, she will just be like...
Sometimes you got to stretch your hips out. You got to go down to a squat.
She does while we're talking. It's so funny because it feels like you're having like a serious moment and then she's like downward dogging in your face. Where you're like, Julie.
Okay.
But Joe goes, oh, we got a gun. Do you want... And it just sounded like Joe and I got a gun.
Do you want to shoot yourself in the face? Maybe that'll help. That's so fun.
Yes.
I've having my back pain's been killing me with this travel lately. It's like the only thing for me, I will say Pilates has been such a game changer for me just because it focuses on like the flexibility of the spine and that helps so much. But it's like after sitting on a plane and I always sleep like this. Somehow this is...
I hate plane seats. I think they purposely design them so you can't... It curves and then it moves away from that. So you get your head's like this.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for your lumbar.
No, they're terrible.
It's like you'd think they would let it be concave in the back.
Make it
not
slightly...
Make voting process.
Make it slightly comfortable. Well, here's the thing. Like,
it's violent.
Yeah. You would think that I wouldn't be able to sleep with that type of uncomfortable lack of back support, but I'm out immediately just sleeping I'm destroying my spine.
My head's always like this.
Yeah. I'm like, I go out immediately. Yeah. I'm drooling.
It's embarrassing.
I'm laying on the person next to me. There's nothing. That's why I was liking wearing the masks for a little while on the plane. So I was like, at least I'm protecting my mouth from just hanging open. But now it's like, I don't have that kind of organization.
Right. Okay. Girls do infrared masks on the plane? Face masks? Do you ever do a facial on the plane?
I never do. I just don't have that type of, I'm like not there in my life, but I do eat a lot.
Right. On the plane?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I ate an orange on the plane yesterday. I was like, that was just what I needed.
I bet you it tasted... Doesn't it feel like things taste so much better in the air?
Oh, my God. Yeah, because I was coming from Denver, too, so I was so dehydrated. And I got one of those... I'm obsessed with the Sumo citrus. Have you had these?
No, I don't think so. But I do like citrus. Mainly like... When you get an orange or orange juice, it's not often that I do just because I'm like, it's like soda.
Yeah, orange juice is so...
But every now and then you get it.
You're drinking candy water.
Yeah, but you're like, this is so good. So good.
I love a fresh squeezed orange juice.
I don't even mind it. In Europe, I felt like when we went to Spain, they do it at room temperature, which made it even sweeter.
Ooh, yum.
I recommend that.
I think that we're going to go to Spain for my honeymoon.
Oh, exciting.
So I've been doing, I'll go in this direction for a journey, even though I don't want to blow my load because we still have three more episodes. But I have been doing the points maxing. And I remember I talked about this when I set it up in the summer. And so I got the Amex business card. So when I spent the first amount of money, I got 3 free nights. And then now I'm getting like enough points from hosting the event at the Marriott that I'm just
a points person.
Yeah. Like I would, there's no way that I would be like, I'm just going to take a trip to Barcelona, but it's like, we're going to use miles to fly there.
Yeah.
We're getting free hotels. So we're just going to go for a week and then we'll just be spending what we're spending on food. So, maybe a couple $1,000, probably not that much, $1,000 per person. I think that's reasonable. And I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm getting to take a free vacation.
I was just thinking about this the other day I was like, I think what rich people do from what I gather is they put everything on a card that has points.
Yeah.
Groceries where I don't, and I still don't. But I was when I was walking to my apartment, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get those miles and get some hotel points.
Absolutely. Because I was reading something that was like, you should never pay for anything with cash unless you get a discount at like, for example, a nail salon or something where they're going to charge you a credit card fee, because most places have it built in. They have the payments to the credit card built into the price. So it's like when you just pay for something in cash, you're missing out on that.
Right.
But I've been really into money lately since I've been like doing the money for my wedding, doing the money for my home down payment and everything. And then also on top of that, still trying to like do a no buy year. I've bought one thing. I bought a hoodie for myself for Valentine's Day. It was so cute and it was on sale. But I'm really into.
Is this a no buy year?
I mean, it's coming out to be a no buy year, and it's really challenging because, like, in the first place, I was like, well, I guess if I need a massage or something, I can get a massage because that's
Service.
like for back pain.
You're not hoarding it. It's not going into the waste.
Or like if I need like face lotion, I'm gonna buy face lotion, but I'm not buying. If I'm at the airport and I need a cup of coffee, I can get a cup of coffee.
Right. I just canceled my Newly.
Okay.
Well, I put it on pause.
Oh,
is
good.
what they say.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think, because the last thing, I only wore one thing, and it's been so cold that all I've been wearing is a jacket.
It's so freezing
and
right now.
Sweatsuits.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate this weather.
I really do too. We were in Texas, and I was like, can we come? I'm like, I want a 70-degree February.
The freezing, though it's so cold right now, and now we've kind of all resigned ourselves to it, and we're like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like there's not. There's not.
March and April still sucks.
No, we're halfway. If anything, we're halfway through, and it's like it's already the end of February. We're like, we're right there.
Right.
But we're not. We have a long time. And then it's going to be rainy for a long time.
Yeah, it's raining cold. Still, it's like 40 or 30 degrees, rainy and cold.
And I like staying in and being cozy, but at a certain point, you do have to go out. And that's when it gets to be brutal.
Well, that's why I was like, I got to go see the new place and get out. I just feel like I've been walking in a mall for about 4 months.
Yeah.
Straight now. I also did you do anything for Valentine's Day?
Oh, so I went to Denver I did performing at the Denver Comedy Underground, which was really fun because I love Valentine's Day as a comedy holiday.
David Rodriguez?
No, it's Ben Bryant.
Gotcha.
Is the guy that, the proprietor. And it's an incredible club, and I've been going there for years, and they have a brand new space with a full bar now. It's really cool. They've just done a big rebrand and upgrade, and it was awesome. Like all the shows were sold out, and they did something that I love too, which I always love Valentine's Day because even when I was single, I love Valentine's Day for like the palette.
Okay.
Reds, pinks, a little white, a little lavender.
It's cheerful.
It's so fun, and those colors go together so well. And I wore a pink sweater or pink sweatshirt for my show. Everybody in the crowd is like on their date and they're dressed up, and they had at the venue, you could buy like a bouquet, you could buy candy. So it's like all this fun stuff of like, now we're having an extra treat, we're having an extra candy. So it was really fun. And then also I was starving. I was like famished because it was freezing and I refused to go out for food. I'm just starving myself. Just like starving myself eating like
I'm too lazy to figure this out.
No, I'm like, I'll just slay.
I'm going to eat.
I'll just slay.
Or see if there's a vending machine.
Yeah. I was in a really cute little Airbnb that I stayed in, which was like somebody's little side room, but it had its own bathroom and its own tiny little kitchenette. And it was so cozy and cute.
I like Denver.
I love it. I know. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm here like starting up a like pharmacology therapy center,
right.
Like I'm helping people with my pharmaceutical shrooms, but so I walked to the show. I did walk to the show, which was a good 30-minute walk, which was nice to stretch my legs. But right next to the venue, there was an incredible sandwich place, and I had the best freaking sandwich of my life.
A good sandwich. You'll think about forever. It's like a lover.
Yes. I'll never forget. It was a roast beef with, they had the horseradish and the au jus. Oh my God.
So
it was
good.
Freaking, and tons of iceberg lettuce, which I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with iceberg lettuce on bread lately.
Interesting.
Give me that as the whole sandwich. Fine. Just put that on a hoagie with mayo and like oil and vinegar.
Sometimes I think I'll like the chicken sandwich at Burger King with lettuce and it's just tons of mayo. And you're like, I think I would also just like this.
I think I'm a stereotype. Yeah. Have you ever just had, I love the sandwich, white bread with mayo and salami.
I've had that. I also like white bread, a big tomato with salt and pepper and mayonnaise.
Yum. Yes.
Just that alone.
Yeah. Delicious.
And it feels relatively inexpensive.
Yes, and it's kind of light actually. Even though white bread just
it feels
hangs out
very
in your colon
vlogging
forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me.
Yes.
My little light lunch. What I eat in a day. Meanwhile, in 2 hours, I'll be eating a full cake.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my Denver experience. And I also had a really other great meal. I had pho, which was the perfect food.
I like pho.
Oh my God.
I didn't know it was
good.
called pho.
I've
been calling it pho.
I always said pho for a long time, but now I just made the choice to confidently say pho because it feels like you're saying fuck you.
Pho, or like you're not finished with your thoughts.
Pho, yeah.
It's also, I feel like it's one of those words that a lot of people are so used to it being faux.
It looks like it's
that you come off. It's like, it feels like a pretentious thing.
Yeah. I'll have some pho. Well, also it's like
pho. What's pho? And you're like, oh, we've been saying it wrong.
Right. It's like we should make a choice collectively to spell it differently because it's Vietnamese. Like there's no way they don't use the alphabet in the same way that we do. So we like
there's several languages. Welsh is like that where you're like, what did you guys do to the alphabet?
Yeah, it's not translating.
Out of control.
Just spell it F-U, pho, or F-U-H instead of P-H-O, like phone. Faux.
So colonizing for us to be like, just spell it differently over here.
Just spell it differently. Well, I think it's like probably when the whites first learned what pho is, they were the ones that spelled it wrong.
Right.
So just admit your mistake
and
redo it. But anyway, the pho that I had was so good. It was snowing all day on Saturday and I was just laying in bed starving myself watching this weird period drama that I found on Hulu called Daniel Deronda from like the early 2000s. I was starving.
Doesn't it feel like sometimes you're watching a show that
no one knows. No one's ever seen this show. I'm like, have you guys seen Daniel Deronda? People are like, what?
And then you find out it's just in Hollywood. They're like, let's just make one show for one person and put it on their algorithm.
Yeah. This will be for Katie Hannigan in 20 years. I love watching it because it was also made in the early 2000s and it just feels like I like period dramas that happened in the past because it feels like a simpler time.
Right. Before cell phones.
Yes. Before cell phones. And that was like when I was in high school. So the world felt new to me.
I do like any movie with like 80s in it. I'm like, oh God, what a great time.
Remember
for me.
Back then
Don't
when
you
you just
hate
had like a VCR and you were watching stuff and you were like, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. Was in the woods the whole time.
Oh, it's great.
You know what I want that I do like? And I think I might just start doing this as a tradition on Valentine's Day. I like a box of chocolates.
I love it. Yeah, I was going to ask you, what you guys do?
We were supposed to go do the comedy dojo, but then Joe was feeling under the weather, and now I think I have what he has. This has been a fucking nightmare.
You guys have a baby now, so it's like now
it's just been 2 months of sickness, and then I'm probably being out of line here, and I know I am, but it always feels like my sickness doesn't get treated with seriousness.
Yeah,
this. But you got to, you got to sleep in, and you're like, I'm pretty sure I probably get my moments, but I'm not clocking them.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't exactly.
What matters is you feel you've been wronged.
Well, because I'm like, I told him today, I was like, I just want to crawl into a hole and die. Meaning like, I just don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
I don't need peace and quiet, or like, I just don't want you to ask me to do. I don't want to be asked of anything at this moment.
It's, I mean, when you're
and I can
sick,
muster
you just
through.
need that
I'm
rest. Yeah.
but it's like I'm on a tinge of light nausea all day.
Ugh, it's the worst.
My sister-in-law is, maybe you're pregnant, and I'm like, there's no way, because even my OBGYN is like, oh, you don't need an IUD.
That's hilarious.
That's what it felt like it was presented to me. I don't listen though.
I hope
so
that you.
She may have.
I hope that you are pregnant only for the pod, because that would be a journey. What a journey! Even if then you did miscarry, which would be tragic, but also content.
So relatable.
Content, crying, sad, starting a GoFundMe.
Oh my God. Get some followers.
I do have to say,
but I love a box of chocolates.
That's where I was going back to.
Okay, good.
The box of chocolates is so exquisite, because
I don't even mind a CVS, whatever the name brand is there.
The Whitman's. Yeah,
Whitman's.
Oh my God, because there was a year that I was single, and I was I was like working at a comedy club, working the door to get stage time. And I would work there on Saturdays until like midnight. And every Saturday for like a month, I would go to a Duane Reade, and I would go to the back, and I would get a box of chocolate, and I would just take it home and just eat it while watching a TV show.
It feels so decadent. It's
Absolutely.
what Peg Bundy would do.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like an 80s woman in a bubble bath with candles and a glass of wine. And it's like, there's just something so iconic about it.
I feel like, but I feel like people have forgotten about it.
Yes.
And I feel like it should come back as the thing to have.
I feel like
it's almost like getting a bottle of champagne for yourself.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna lay on my bed on my stomach
with my little box.
See which one. I don't even look until after, and then you read, and you're like, oh, this one's.
Oh,
I've
had orange cream,
and I don't even care. I don't think there's even like a flavor in a box of chocolate that I find hideous. Like,
I love even the weird ones, the ones that are like, you're like, molasses. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's the thing.
You're like, well, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
that's actually
licorice.
really fun.
Yeah.
But it is really like a Forrest Gump saying.
Absolutely. And also it just gives you that feeling of like, when I was growing up, I read a lot of the Kathy cartoons. I just had like a bunch of books, and I would read them when I was on the toilet, and I was chronically dehydrated, so I was just on there all the time. But that was always what I thought was the epitome of an adult life, was like being a woman in the 90s, and you have a career at an ad agency that's stressful and you don't care about, but you come home and you have your glass of wine, and you just lounge, and it's something so romantic and self-care. I want to get chocolates tonight. I'm going to go on a quest to see if I can get a budget box.
They've got to be on sale.
They got to be on sale. They got to be around. But you know what they do now?
Maybe I get a pregnancy test.
Oh my God, both. Checking out with both. You're like, it's been a rough month. But they, a lot of times, even I think, not last year, but the year before, Mike went out to try to get me chocolates day of, and he was like, everything's sold out.
Weird.
I think that they don't get as much as they used to, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I do have to say, I've walked by a chocolate box store in the Oculus several times, and I'm like, I always feel bad for an employee that works at a job like this. Like, you have to open the door and go. Like, who's supporting this?
Right. I know.
All the other times out of the year. Like, is there box of chocolate demanded? That I also feels like, I feel like you could just order a box of chocolates online. Those kind.
It's such a specialty.
Keep them at CVS or Walgreens or Duane Reade. But like.
And I know the one that you're talking about, it's the Noi. It's like, I know the brand. Jacques Torres. Is it Jacques Torres?
Something like that. I've seen several in the city over time, and
They're
like, I just don't
so
see who's
expensive.
Yeah, who's buying all this
for like a maybe 20 piece is like $60.
Oh my God!
Like,
no, I'll take a Whitman's.
Oh, give me a Whitman's. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to have to savor it. Like, thinking about going into debt.
Right. I just want to read the
back
back of the box. see what I got myself into.
I want to read a trashy magazine.
Oh my God. I haven't read a magazine in ages. And I miss that because now I just go on to online blogs for fashion stuff.
I have been getting really...
Or TikTok now.
Yeah. There's something so... I want the early 90s self-care night where I get a trashy magazine. I have a bubble bath. I have a lean cuisine for some reason, even though that's not that good. But I'm like, I'm just stocking up at my CVS to take care of myself. I do a mask.
Those lean cuisines do not even make a dent.
Oh, no. And they're absolutely foul. But I used to eat them all the time. And, it's like, if you don't know what dinner tastes like... It's pretty good, actually.
It's not bad. I pretend I'm flying. I also miss airplane food. Joe and I were talking about it just sucks now when you fly. Like they don't feed you. It's so weird.
I know. You get like 100-calorie bag of Sun Chips. You're like, this is...
And if they're feeling nice, they come around again and be like, you can have another one.
Yeah, I hear you're like, please, thanks. I've been here for 7 hours. Anyway, we're at 40 minutes. So
we did it.
It's time to wrap up. It's time to wrap up. Please like and subscribe. This was a kind of a fun grab bag episode, but I actually have more to talk about, and I will be. We have more episodes coming up. We have bonus, okay? We release semi-regularly. And we're going to be getting more on top of it soon. It's a busy time.
It's a busy time.
So thank you and Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.